Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are listening to me, please take a minute and say thank God for social media. Talker. Say thank God for social media. About social media good oh. Not let anybody lie to you. Social media good. If not be social media, they for all do us take for this country. We just dare our own. We don't know what the president smoke. He just decide. Say some kidnappers and some drug bandits and terrorists, they should all release them and give the presidential pardon. Appa. Thank God for social media. If now in those days we would go stand for newspaper point to watch read newspaper, many people for not know. But social media, Nigerians raise alarm. How you go release this kind of people? Miriam Sanda wey stab her husband Brokos by the man, you give her presidential pardon. Say she get 2 children which she won't go take care of. Kevin from Kokori, Delta State. Kidnap Mike Ozekome. Former Anambra Deputy Governor, even kidnapped that one even pay for a custody. President give her presidential pardon. So Nigerians raised alarm. Of a fact, the Nigerian Constitution section 175 gave the president powers to release anybody he likes and give the president presidential pardon. But does not mean that the president will just look, say, hey, this one, we will just release him. There are some people supposed to look at the list by common sense and say, President, this one due, this one for good, this one for... President don't give weary people. Anyway, long story short, the president has called back his action. Out of the 175 people, when he give presidential pardon, they don't reduce them to 120. Some people, when he even give presidential pardon before the best he could do for them was reduce their sentence. Now, let me show you the news. Bayo Onanuga, spokesperson to the president, was on Arise TV explaining how the president made this mistake. Watch this.
Now, it's been described as a pardon too far. President Tinubu's prerogative of mercy list, which included convicts serving time for serious crimes, something that sparked widespread outrage and left the administration churning and roiling in controversy, forcing it to make a U-turn of sorts. The list had sparked debate about the balance between mercy and justice and eventually led to this urgent reappraisal. But the opposition had been quick to seize on the decision to review the pardon only after Nigerians expressed outrage. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar said it was too little too late and that the reversal was an act of shame.
They must complain.
In a statement, he said that President Tinubu had cancelled his own pardon for drug traffickers, kidnappers and other hardened criminals, but only after Nigerians shouted loud enough to wake him up from his moral slumber. Mr. Abubakar said the controversy raised fundamental questions about governance and accountability in the current administration. If the public had kept quiet, would convicted drug lords and kidnappers be walking free today under the president's blessing, he asked.
Yes, so they would have.
Well, let's get the perspective of the government. And for this, I'm joined now in the studio by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Bayo, come and tell us what your guy did.
Good to see you again. Isn't the review and reversal of the pardon list an admission that the initial decision was flawed? And what does this say about the President's decision-making process?
Well, you know, what Nigerians ought to have seen now, by now, is that this president is not one that is afraid to reverse himself. If he feels that he has made an error. He has been considered about this. He's a human being.
Yes.
He can make mistakes, and he listens to the public. He's a president who wakes up in the morning. The first thing he does is to read all the Nigerian papers.
Which one?
To watch the TV, to know what's going on. So
he
tries to understand what people are talking about. So I don't see it as a matter of weakness. It's something that I think is a matter of strength. That you do something and then you reappraise it and then you make some adjustments. And that's what he has done in this case of pardon or clemency and so on. When people talk about public outreach about what he did in the first instance in consultation with the Council of State, I don't agree that it was a general outrage. Most of the criticisms were coming in the case of Mariam Sanda, who the court said found her guilty and sentenced her to death for killing her husband.
She did.
I think that was where the criticisms were coming mainly from. Also, whether he freed drug convicts and so on, even the second list still contained some drug offenders who were also given clemency.
No,
not
clemency.
Pardon, clemency.
Okay.
And Mariam too was given clemency.
Okay.
What I know about
in other words, they reduced their sentences.
Yeah. No, she was sentenced to death.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that
President gave him 12 years.
Right.
12 years.
That is clemency.
And in the case of the drugs people, they were also reduced.
Some of their sentences were reviewed downwards.
Okay.
But not that they were not pardoned, they were given, the sentences were commuted,
right?
So to say.
So
the president is, as a person on his own,
right,
he's a compassionate person, and then some of the things he does at times shows where he is coming from, his own personal philosophy, his own attitude about a lot of things.
Yes.
He has compassion, he has feelings for people.
Like the pardoning of drug
Let me cite the case of Mariam Sanda. Yeah, the court found her guilty of killing her husband, a young man at that time. But her own case was a bit complicated by the fact that she has 2 kids.
Okay.
2 children, I think 2 daughters or so. And I've read something about Islamic jurisprudence where people said that the court ought to have taken into account her children.
Yes.
Who will take care of them? The father is no more. And the mother is in jail.
Yeah, but she must have been aware of the fact that
Don't mind it.
She
it was a crime of passion. It was a crime of passion.
Right.
Crime of passion. Crime of not.
It wasn't premeditated. Is what you're saying.
It was a crime of passion. Right. So anything could happen between a man and a woman in the heat of argument and things like that. Something could happen. So I said our president, is moved more by compassion and nothing else.
But don't you think this, what appears to be a flip-flop on issues as important as this, undermines the president's credibility and his grasp of the rule of law?
There's no flip-flop in what he has done.
Okay.
As I said, he's a man who's not afraid to check whatever he has done, make corrections, and then move on from there.
But there is the sense that the presidency's response to these accusations is a knee-jerk reaction to public pressure rather than a thoughtful reconsideration.
But you know, if you read the second statement that we issued about this prerogative of mercy, it will be clear that even the Ministry of Justice is not actually in charge of prerogative of mercy. There's another government department in charge. What the president has seen in the review done also transferred that the secretariat of the prerogative of mercy committee to the Ministry of Justice, that they need to work together. So it will now be supervised by the Ministry of Justice instead of being under the Ministry of Special Duties. So that's what they have done. They've looked at where did the problem come from, and then they found out, no, maybe these people ought to move to the Ministry of Justice.
Yes.
And then look at the people, the committee, the members of the committee itself. They are very, very important people in our society. And whatever they decided, whatever they recommended, I don't think people should just look at them and say there are some irresponsible people who made the recommendation.
But they are irresponsible.
They must have considered a lot of things.
Considered what?
Before telling the government that this is how to go about this case.
So pardon, Kelvin.
And if you just go and read the details, the people who are given clemency, there are many of them, young people in their 20s, some of them teenagers, for example, people convicted for illegal mining. They are not young Nigerians.
Yeah,
you want to waste them?
Yeah, I understand that. But, I mean, people have to wonder what, the presidency was thinking.
Like
70 individuals, I'm talking about the original list,
yes,
convicted of drugs-related offenses, about 30 of them for financial or fraud cases, 25 of them for violent or capital offenses, and a list which includes a former member of the House of Representatives convicted of receiving $500,000 in bribe in a country whose image has been virtually ruined by corruption. I mean, what was the presidency thinking?
He was not thinking anything. He was just signing paper. I think, and maybe he needed most of these people because of election. Let's call it spade is spade. Election will come. Releasing these people a few years to election. What if a few years? Less than 2 years. Point fingers. And based on the way they do their last election, it's understandable why you need people like that to be out. But it's all right. At least the president have gone to review it. Now, there is an agency called the Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy. Their job is to look at the country and look for people that the president should give mercy, and then they will advise the president to do so. But that ministry is under the Ministry of Special Duties. It's supposed to be under the Ministry of Justice, because in Nigeria we have 3 arms of government: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Now, judiciary now they prosecute. Executive go carry out the prosecution. So when you have a problem, you go to the police. The police takes you to court, which is the judiciary. The judiciary will sentence you. They hand you back to the executive, which is the Nigerian prisons, to carry out the sentence. Now, the executive cannot just sit down and wait and look at the people that judiciary have sentenced and say, you know what, cancel this one, cancel this one. It just means that the judiciary is a toothless dog. If they can take out sentencing and the executive have the power to just cancel it, the power in section 175 given to the president to give mercy is too much. It's too much. I know it's too much. That means the president can send someone to commit a crime. If they catch the person, arrest the person, sentence her to jail, the president will forgive her back. That's exactly what it means. It's too much. Meanwhile, this APC government, so when Goodluck Jonathan was in power, Goodluck Jonathan handed mercy to 2 people winning the cause problem: Alemesia and Al Mustafa, the former chief security officer to Abacha. APC, hala! How will you give presidential pardon to Alemesia, somebody that stole government money? You enter now, reach your tongue. You dey give presidential pardon to kidnappers. Haba! So, in my opinion, the legislature, the Senate and the House of Rep should carry that rubbish we call the 1999 Constitution as amended. Throw it away and write us a constitution that can work with to this life. That thing is not a constitution, it's a decree put there by military government who wants to run some madness. So they give themselves a lot of power when they're in office. We can't be giving this kind of power to people into this world. President can just decide and forgive anybody. Anyway, the president has said that, okay, that Presidential Advisory Council Committee on Prerogative of Mercy, make them move on from Ministry of Special Duties and take it to the Ministry of Justice. So that once they draft their list of people who the vice president is supposed to give presidential pardon, the Ministry of Justice go look calm, say, no, this one not qualify. Because the Ministry of Justice even sentenced them in the first place. So they should be able to look and say, no, this one not qualify. No, this one qualify. Then tell the president, okay, this list is good to go. Now, another thing we go cause quarrel is that the Constitution does not give the president the power to review presidential pardon. You don't give her, It's final. So those people can go to court and they might win. Okay.